how to raise bulls and cattle in an ethical way. Raising livestock in an ethical way is very important. When an animal is raised in a natural environment, yes, that is ethical. And you can eat it. It's good for your health. You're not poisoning your bodies. But today's business is entirely opposite. Dumping chemicals into agriculture, dumping chemicals into animal, and at last you eat it. That is not the right perspective of rearing an animal. Bible talks about it. Psalm 22, many bulls have encompassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me around. Many times Bible talks about the bulls of Bashan. Why? Because Bashan is a place where they had excellent pasture, very rich green grass. Ultimately they had good soil. Good soil can produce good grass. Good grass can produce good bulls, and good bulls can produce good humans because they produce good milk. Bashan was well known for its excellent pasture. We read in Micah chapter 7, Jeremiah 50, Ezekiel 39, Amos 4. Bashan means soft, fertile land. It had an extraordinarily rich plain, rich soil with excellent pasture, produces strong, healthy animals. To produce strong, healthy animals, we need to build up the soil and make it soft and fertile. If we take care of the soil, the animals will take care of us. Building up the soil should be our priority. It is worth it. That's what stewards are made for. You are a steward and I am a steward. We can create good pasture land for our brothers and sisters known as animals. That is how you care for them. They will provide meat and clothing, even sandals for you. They provide everything. It's a relationship. You give to them and they give you back. Psalm 104, He causes the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth. So ultimately it is not the human one who prepares the soil and grass. It is God one who causes these things to happen. God designed cattle to eat grass as a primary feed source. God makes grass grow. Man does not make grass. Cattle are food for us out of the earth. Therefore, the quality and health value of the meat is dependent upon the fertility of the soil. God invented grass primarily for animal feed, not for lawns. Grass is a green feed that is harvested by four-legged combines. Does not require diesel fuel to produce it. Today we use grass for aesthetic purposes, for beauty. In front of your house, at the back of your house, we call it a lawn. No, grass is meant for cows, buffaloes, bulls. So you give the grass to them, grow grass to them. Not for lawn purposes, that is self-interest. When you grow grass for the cattle, that is the common interest. It looks beautiful. Grass without a cow is not complete. It is fragmented. There should be cows in the lawn. It becomes complete. And also, when you raise livestock, it is not only for the food purposes and also for learning purposes. I told you all wisdom comes from nature. So when you look at the chicken in my farm, in front of my house, I learn from them how the cock takes the hen and he gives food to her before he attempts to have a relationship with the hen. First, the cock gives food to the hen. The hen eats it and then cock eats, and then they engage in sex. So it is like taking care of each other. It is so beautiful to learn from them. And also they get up early in the morning. That is a good lesson. Early in the morning they get up. They want to come out of the chicken coop. So they want to start their day early. And then they go back by sunset back to the coop. Isn't that nice? They early rise and they go back sleep early. We can learn from them. And also they turn all the waste into resource. Even today we don't know how to turn our waste into resource. So we can learn from the chicken. Not only we are raising them for food, that is cheap motive, but learning purposes. From the cows, from the buffaloes, from the pigs, you can learn. See Job chapter 12 verse 7, 8. But ask now the beast, and they shall teach you, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell you, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach you, and the fishes of the sea, they shall declare to you. Pope Benedict XVI, he wrote, I think in 2009 or something, I don't remember, earth speaks to us. We need to listen. Those are very profound words. Earth speaks to us. We need to listen. So through animals, we tend, God speaks to us. God speaks to us. So when you raise animals in Kavarapettai, I know that you have sheep, you have got cows, you have got pigs. I saw them. You don't want to see them only on table. Just go and see them in their natural environment and learn from them. Try to grasp what they are telling you. In nature, everything speaks to us. We need to spend time observing our animals or poultry and see what they prefer and what they don't like. It is important to use an animal or bird's natural instinct to our advantage in handling them and in raising them. It can save us a lot of time and effort. It tells us to ask. We need to take the initiative and observe with the goal of learning from the animals, poultry, ground, or fish on our farm. Too often we do things in farming because others are doing it that way, or because it has always been done that way. It may not be the best way or the best for our farm or our ground. This quote we already read it, Leviticus 26. Next, there is widespread agreement among scientists about the impact of climate change on agriculture. In 2001, the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, pointed out rise in temperatures of 1 to 4 to 6 degrees Celsius over the next century, higher than earlier predictions. A rise of this kind would result, believes the panel, in droughts, floods, famine, severe water stress, decreased agricultural production in many tropical and subtropical countries, and higher worldwide food prices as supplies fail to keep up with the demands of an increasing population. Even a small increase in temperature could mean a decrease in agricultural production in many developing countries. Prophet Isaiah portrays a clumsy picture of the agricultural methods practiced during his time. Isaiah chapter 5, I already read twice. You can read it later. For people who are already short of food, the implications are dire. It will be the most vulnerable farmers who bear the brunt of global warming. For subsistence farmers, and especially for people who now face a shortage of food, lower yields caused by climate change could result in reduced income, malnutrition and famine. Global warming is already leading to lower rainfall in some countries and to changes in the crops that farmers grow. Now, agriculture is itself a source of greenhouse gases that are causing climate change. Carbon dioxide from land use change, including deforestation, from methane, ruminant digestion and rice paddies, and nitrous oxide from fertilizer use. According to United Nations report, livestock which is raised for non-vegetarian consumption alone contributes 20% of the greenhouse gases. No meat, no heat was the slogan circulated around the world to raise awareness to return to vegetarian lifestyle. In this regard, it would be appropriate to reiterate the biblical text in favor of vegetarian lifestyle. Genesis 1:29 recommends only the agricultural produce to humans. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. There is a lot more potential for food production than what we now realize. There are more than 500,000 species of plants in the natural world, out of which we have domesticated less than 1,000 species. Only 1,000 species vegetables we are eating. But there are 500,000 species, almost 5 lakh of plants there. According to verse 29, Genesis chapter 1, there are a lot of plants and trees producing food than what we now are using. We need more George Washington Carvers and Nambalwar, Masanobu Fukuoka to discover how these plants and trees can be used for food. Are there plants that we have overlooked for animal feed? Are there ways we can utilize weeds that grow in abundance for our good use? That means, can we change the weeds into food? Are all plants that we call weeds part of the curse, or with some of them is God using their abundance to get our attention to use them? There are also medical uses of plants for people and animals. If we domesticate more plants for human consumption, faster we can come out of meat-eating habits, because vegetarian food will be available in abundance. So we don't have to go for meat-eating lifestyle. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 18 and 21, such a beautiful text. I want to read it for you. Please listen. It's so beautiful. I also said to myself, as for humans, God tests them so that they may see that they are like the animals. Yes, we are animals. Surely the fate of human beings is like that of the animals. The same fate awaits them both. As one dies, so dies the other. All have the same breath. Humans have no advantage over animals. Everything is meaningless. All go to the same place. All come from dust, and to dust all return. Who knows if the human spirit rises upward, and if the spirit of the animal goes down into the earth? Such a profound words. Unbelievable quote. So what goes around comes around. If you mistreat an animal, you are going to mistreat the human being very soon. If you abuse your cat, you are going to abuse your neighbor. If you hurt your dog, you are going to hurt your neighbor as well. If you kill an iguana, if you kill something as a kid, you are going to grow up a murderer. That is what the psychology teaches. Most of the murderers interviewed around the world, they confessed they abused animals when they were small little kids. Then they became big killers, murderers. So what goes around comes around. The mistreatment of an animal is going to lead you to mistreat your own friends and neighbors. A statement from the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development. Very recently, non-vegetarian habits produce 20% greenhouse gases. Among the goals of the platform, Vatican's Department for Integral Human Development are adopting simpler lifestyles and developing ecological economics based on sustainable production, fair trade, using less plastic, adopting a more plant-based diet to reduce meat consumption, and broader use of public transport in order to reduce pollution. So this is the latest teaching from Vatican's Peace and Justice Commission, headed by Cardinal Peter Turkson. So we have come to the last part of our program. I would like to talk about Akshaya Patra. We read it in the major Manimehalai epic written by Seethalai Satanar. So he writes that everybody has a Akshaya Patra. All of you, also me. 8 billion people are having Akshaya Patra. But in the Kappiyam, only Manimehalai had it. That is a misunderstanding. We all have it. It is known as the human ecology. At last, our consciousness produces the highest crop, that is called aram. I told you, Kurunji, Mullai, Marudam, Neidal, Palai, Manidam. Because all the ecosystems are made up of soil. Humans also made up of soil. That's why we become an ecosystem called Manidam. So you have hundreds of resources in your ecosystem. Empathy, love, hope, justice, bioethics, righteousness, aram. So I think that is the biggest, highest. Jesus calls it 100% the land produced. That is what aram is all about. So Jesus also says, when disciples asked what does it mean, the parable, he told, the seed is thrown in the heart of the man where it produces 60, 80, 100%. If it doesn't produce this crop called aram, it is only 40% it is producing. Only 20. Maybe only 60, only 80, but not 100. When it produces aram, when you base yourself, aram as a foundation for your efforts in agrarian theology and also animal rearing or livestock raising, or in permaculture, horticulture, or genetically modified production, or in animal husbandry, I think it's going to yield 100%. It's going to produce lot of food that will guarantee our food supply, our food security depends on aram and aram only. A quote from Masanobu: the greening of the desert means sowing seeds in people's hearts and creating a green paradise of peace on earth. Jesus also puts the same idea and notion in the parable of the sower of seed. To conclude, seminary should become farminary. Farminary means place of farm. All our church grounds, destroy all those schools, destroy all those boardings, etc., etc., and make a farmhouses where children also can come. You can bring boarding school back. Bring them back in a farminary. Teach them how to produce food, how to raise livestock. Whatever you learnt in Agrarian Theology course, put it to practice in farminary. So where can we buy bread for these people to eat? You give to them something to eat. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. That time Jesus went through the grain fields on the Sabbath. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. Grow your own food, Genesis 2:15, till it and keep it. 2014 was celebrated as the United Nations International Year of Family Farming. Very important. Unfortunately, I did not discuss it in detail. I should have done that, but I failed. But you can type in YouTube and ask Rayappa Kasi, 2014 UN International Year of Family Farming. You get my lecture in Tamil and in English. And food and agricultural organized resources is Latin motto fiat panis. Let there be bread. And I think the next slide completes our agrarian theology deliberations. Agriculture is a dynamic and challenging enterprise to be conducted in harmony with God's laws at the very heart of Earth's sustainability. Agriculture connects humans to the earth and its care and to the Creator as provider and sustainer of all things. It must also connect humans to each other as we share the resources for production and the fruits produced equitably now and intergenerationally for the future. It's our belief that Christians need to lead, not follow, in farming and food production. And we can do that through humbly seeking to glorify God. Farming isn't monotonous, dull, manual labor fit only for the less capable people of society. Farming is challenging, fulfilling, satisfying work that honors God and serves others. Let us strive to be faithful in the work God has given us. If we are faithful, I believe we will be amazed at what the Lord can do through agriculture. Agriculture will still continue as the best and the only profession intended by God to humans as long as humanity keeps the three connections in working conditions, namely relationship with God, relationship with the neighbor, and the relationship with the whole of creation. Thus, usher in the golden age of food security. So this is my information I already given to you in my last environmental ethics classes. So anyway, this concludes our 10 days efforts to understand about environmental ethics and agrarian theology. Now I want to give a test for you. So you